That is that today the inauguration organizers had planned really one parade, right? But they ended up getting two. The unplanned parade was one filled with frustrated commuters trying to get to work. Just before 8 this morning, 3 lanes of King Street were blocked off. All of Alakea was shut down. Only buses were allowed through. Also closed, Punch Bowl, Bishop, King, almost every major artery leading into or out of downtown Honolulu. But if you were able to get past the obstacles of traffic and impossible parking, it was quite a show to see and hear. A dozen bands from across Oahu marched into the heart of Honolulu, paying tribute to Governor John Waihee. It was a colorful celebration, Honolulu's many cultures bringing life to the party and drumming up support for the state's administration. One of the most impressive parts of today's ceremony was when the 12 marching bands joined together to form one large inaugural band for a musical salute.
The 1990 inauguration was Halawai, which means a meeting or a coming together of people, and hundreds gathered at Iolani Palace for the festivities. They began very early this morning. They won't end until the inaugural ball tonight. Reporter Kelly Abe and news photographer Peter O'Callahan take us through Inauguration Day.
Let today's drums of the Pacific herald a new beginning.
Was another reason to celebrate today. The public education system is celebrating 150 years in Hawaii, the oldest such system in the country west of the Mississippi. In 1840, King Kamehameha III saw the good in a public education system. Today, on the grounds from which Hawaiian royalty once ruled, a native son of Hawaii was sworn in again to...
Joining us. We'll see you again at 10.
Bush says he won't back down from Saddam Hussein. More on the impact of his visit here on the Pat Psyche senatorial campaign.
Good evening. I'm Mary Zanakis.
I'm Kirk Matthews, and thanks for joining us on this Sunday, the 28th of October. President George Bush's whirlwind visit to Honolulu over the weekend ended today with a rousing patriotic speech to an appreciative audience, a crowd at Hickam Air Force Base. As Ray Lovell reports, the nation's commander-in-chief used the last few minutes of his stay here to reaffirm his tough stand against the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait.
Let's hear a big Hawaiian aloha.
The cheering began when the president's limousine arrived at Hickam Air Force Base shortly before 1:30 this afternoon. Active duty and retired military and federal employees and their families were the only members of the public allowed to attend the ceremonies. Mr. Bush did not disappoint them. He said he was proud to be their commander-in-chief.
And proud to be back standing up for the fighting men and women like you that serve in the armed forces of the United States. We have never had a finer group of people.
For spouses or friends of Persian Gulf troops in the crowd of 8,000 today who wondered when those troops might come home, Mr. Bush had this final message.
We want every single American home. No American will be kept in the Gulf a single day longer than necessary, but we will not walk away until our mission is done.
Bob Jones, KGMB News, with the president at Hickam Air Force Base.
And as Bob said, the president had a captive audience just before departing. 8,000 military personnel and their families turned out to see their president at Hickam. And as Sherry Gevertz tells us, it was hail to the commander-in-chief.
They came early, prepared and willing to wait. And wait they did, some with umbrellas to shield the sun, others with homework to pass the time. And as the minutes ticked by, many thought about the man they came to see and what they would say to him if they could. Line began to move, and after a thorough once-over, the crowd passed through Hangar 35, catching a glimpse of Kahuku's Red Raiders, warming up and stretching out, full of pre-performance jitters.
I think it's really thrilling that we were chosen to perform for him, and I'm nervous and scared, but I'm really excited. I think they're all nervous because I guess this is their first time for the president and all. So I think it's a good chance. It's one in a lifetime to do this.
After waiting in line and passing through inspections, if anyone was still in disbelief over who they were going to see today, all it took was one glimpse of Air Force One to make it a reality. Then it was just a matter of crossing the tarmac to wait for the president's arrival. Once there, it was a matter of scrambling for position, the old hurry up and wait in a crush. And with more time on their hands, another chance to consider what they wish they could say.
I'd really like to know what we're going to do about this Saudi Arabia incident we're having right now. You know, I'm really worried about it.
My brother feels proud to be over there because he is in the military. So I'd just like to know when everything will get settled and that he'll come home safely.
But when that moment finally came and the band struck up the tune, the concerns were laid aside, for a while at least, replaced by the purest expression of patriotic spirit. Sherry Gevertz, KGMB News Nightcast.
And after his address at Hickam, the president boarded Air Force One bound for California. Mr. Bush has already arrived in San Francisco, where tomorrow morning he'll attend a GOP breakfast. And then it's off to Oklahoma City for some campaigning before returning home to the White House.